Welcome to Work the Left Side. I'm joined of 1PW month by the awesomeness that is Lizzy. This is where my first hiccup going to be. Is it Evo or Evo?
What do you think it is?
I always say Evo, but my mate's a scout.
Yeah.
Evo.
Yeah, it's Evo. A lot of people think it's Evo. I think, but with me being a scouser, it's just like that. My real name is Evan, so it's like, yeah, it's Evo. Then when I hear ringing out, it's the Evo, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to correct people, so but I probably should do it more.
But yeah, I kind of took his word for it because I was like, as soon as he said, "No, mate, it's Evo," I was like, "All right, yeah, you're a scout."
Scousers,
no. That will come up, yeah. He's the guy basically who runs the. If you have much interactions with Work the Left Side on Instagram, it's me in the messages. You're not talking to somebody totally different. But any posts or stories or anything like that, where he's just commenting on your stuff. It's my boy Ash, massive Scout, Liverpool fan. So yeah, you're like one of his favourite peeps. So that's why he's. He never shuts up about the Progress entrance that you did in Manchester.
Oh, the Progress one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. There's that one, and then there's the Soft Pro one that everyone's always like. I got quite a few followers that were from Liverpool from that one, and I was like, that's mad that just a few Scousers have followed me from seeing an entrance. It took me years to get some Scousers to follow me.
That's it. All it takes, taking the piss out of Man United, and
and mutual respect from them.
But obviously, before I start talking to you, I watched the John's interview that you did a couple of months ago before the last day. It was the Lincoln show, obviously for 1PW. Going against Ruby Soho, and obviously you mentioned how much you enjoy working with Martina.
Yeah.
Obviously, that match has been and gone. You took the 1-2-3, which means that you now have to run the gauntlet in a couple of weeks at Doncaster. How are you feeling for that match?
Nervous, man.
Yeah.
Nervous, I feel, because this has been the big one for me. Like, everyone who knows me and everyone who's listened to certain interviews knows that 1PW is a big deal for me. So preparing for this has been tough, like mentally and physically as well, because I've picked up a few little nagging injuries in the last few weeks, which it's just set me back at the gym a little bit. And obviously when you get set back at the gym a little bit, your mentality goes spiraling, and you'd start thinking, oh, I'm not doing enough, I should be doing this. So I've had a tough couple of weeks, just brushing off a couple of little nags, and finally got my body feeling like it was somewhat 90%. And then I tweaked my ankle last weekend at North, so I've had no gym so far this week. It's been tough. So I've got one match before the 1PW show, and yeah, I just want to try and look after my mentality as much as I can now, because
that's it. It's important. You've got to have you've got to be in the right headspace before the match and everything, can't you, as well? To get in the frame of mind. So totally get that. Obviously most people would be thinking like, oh, yeah, worried about hitting the gym, cardio and stuff like that. But yeah, if your head's not in the right space, that's just as has as much of a knock-on effect. So, well, fingers crossed. Where is next match before 1PW?
I have a debut this Saturday for OTT Wrestling in Ireland. So it's a big one for me as well. So this month is full of big matches at big places, and yeah, just the timing of some things is a bit. I feel like God tests me sometimes. He's like, you need a test, so just take this, and it just smacks me in the face. But I guess it's just how you deal with stuff and keep getting back up. But yeah, my ankle feels much better since the weekend, so that's a positive at least. As long as I keep on that track.
So, okay, so was it like a sprain, or because with your ankle, it could be one way or the other. You could be like, it'll be right in 24 hours, or ice it, or you could have totally knacked it and been like, yeah, that must have messed you up a bit.
I think I knew it wasn't too bad because back in November I wrestled for Pro Wrestling Eve, and stupid thing is I just won the match, and I call it karma now that I look back. I'm like, I'm wrestling Nina Samuels and I've took a win and I'm celebrating and I'm rubbing it in and like no no no, and the ankle just rolled underneath me, just like I just felt a pop and I was like straight
Well,
away, yeah, I'm never gonna rub anything in anyone's face ever
you are
again. That took
good.
me out for a couple of weeks, that one. But this one is, I knew this wasn't as bad because the pain wasn't as bad, and the next day the healing was a lot better than the first time. So it was just a little tweak, and I'm just gonna strap it up and hope for the best.
The best. I'm sure you'll smash it. So, is this the first time that you're working in Ireland? Then,
Will be, yeah,
yeah,
completely,
look
yeah,
forward to it.
yeah. I can't wait. It's been since COVID lifted and we've been able to like travel again. Ireland has been the one place I've been wanting to secure the most. That I got it with Titanic Wrestling, and you know, I can't remember what happened. I don't know if it was COVID. There was something I couldn't fly. There was a reason I couldn't fly, and I was devastated. So just a few times I've arranged to go and see mates over there, and it's not. That's not happened. So I feel like everything happens for a reason. And the first time that I'm going to be actually in Ireland is for OTT, which is more or less the only independent company over here in Ireland that I'm still yet to work for. So that's a huge positive for me to look forward to.
That's huge. Obviously, you've got that. You're competing, for the first 1PW Women's Championship. I was scrolling through your socials earlier, and I had to second look. I think it's in May. You've got like a Nancy Benoit. Is it wrestling, the promotion? Like
Yeah,
something that in connection with like obviously the memory of Nancy Benoit. Um,
yeah.
Awesome, because she's not really. She talks about fondly, kind of thing, but you don't really see a lot done in remembrance. So that kind of
Oh,
got my.
I thought that was dead special. That when
Mm,
so when they originally booked me, of course they mentioned that it was going to be a tournament and stuff, and potentially working more than once. And I think once I saw what the tournament was for,
yeah.
and of course the people that are also in the tournament, I was like, that's like really good because, like you just said, you don't really hear of a name being mentioned much, so it's kind of like a respect sort of thing. So it's really nice to have been asked to be involved in that. To be honest, I'm glad that someone's mentioned that.
Yeah, it just caught my attention, like I say, because it's not a name that gets brought up as much as it should do. Because she did pave the way back in the day, like being the valet, back for working WC and stuff like that. And it's just kind of the name kind of got tainted, obviously, because of what happened. But focus on the good and the stuff that she did. Yeah, that's awesome, and to be a part of that, it's massive for you. It just for me, it speaks volumes where you are.
Yeah, it's an achievement that you probably look at and be really proud of in a few years to say that you were involved in that, and for it to like, to my recollection, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think anyone's done anything like that before. So to be involved with like the first promotion to take that step is actually an honor. So yeah, it's pretty special.
And just if obviously people watching this, it was mentioned in the tweet that Nancy has fully endorsed it and put behind it, and is giving it her blessing as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
which is really nice. Yeah.
so 1PW then in a couple of weeks. Obviously, Gauntlet. Everybody knows me. Made it known on socials, with the artwork and stuff. I'm calling it the Championship Collection. My money's on you to win. I just think, the story's right. So, it's
Thank
going to
you.
be like a David versus Goliath situation. I presume you're going into the match with that mentality of like, fuck it, let's just, I got this.
Yeah. I mean, when I first like saw, the original plans for the gauntlet to take place and like what the rules of the freeway were going into the gauntlet, I thought that was special, like I think looking at it, there's so many ways, and there's the women that are in the match as well. Like don't get Kaza, like Session Moth, for instance. When I get to work with Session Moth, I think everyone knows this. you know, it's going to be something special because she's just on a different scale, a different level mentality wise and creativity. Like she'll come up with a great idea and then she's like, no, 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 no. And I'm like, what do you mean no? And then she'll come at me with something even better than that one. And I'm like, yeah, slow down. You make me feel like a piece of shit sometimes. But no, she's really fun to work with. So I think once I realized that, you know, I was going to be involved in this whole storyline anyway, like it's just dead special. And I think, you know, for 1PW to put this match on with this many women involved on their platform is so special. And I believe that those women are going to do a really good job. And, you know, whoever wins is going to be really special on that night because, you know, to be a part of 1PW in itself, but never mind be, you know, the first 1PW women's champion. So that's why I'm pushing my very hardest in every single way that I can because I want that position to be me. And I don't think I've ever wanted the position so much to be me in my life. But I think since they came back and, you know, being in contact with them about the Mickey James match and, you know, just the excitement of the whole product and, you know, they want women to do well as well. Like they're going to push the women. And I think that's so important because, you know, being involved in wrestling, I've been to a few different promotions where I feel and I see that, you know, women don't get booked properly and sometimes it can be on a decent platform and sometimes it's just down to the creative team thinking that they know best and really they're not. They're just shitting on a shitload of talent whereas when you look at 1PW on a big scale, I feel every woman that they've booked has been, you know, made to be and feel like an actual superstar. And to me, that is why we want to be wrestlers. We want to be, you know, superstars. We want to be advertised as superstars. We want people to see us as superstars. So when 1PW do these things and they advertise us women as these, you know, it really makes me feel proud to even be in that match. So, you know, that I'm gonna work hard as I can. You know, I think it's just 9 days or so left to go. And yeah, it's been the one that I've been focused on the most this year. I was looking forward to when they announced that they were getting a women's title, that has been my uttermost focus because, you know, why else would I wrestle if that's not what I'm going after, you know?
I think it's a cliche is if you're not in the business to get the belt while you're in the business.
Yeah, like
Oh, JR.
everyone wants to be a champion, I mean, but I wanted that little bit more.
And hopefully that'll be enough. The difference between ordinary is just that little bit extra.
That's the one. Diamond form under pressure, I'm ready.
But what you're saying there about women being booked right and made to look like stars, I don't. I hold my hands up if I'm wrong, but I don't. I'm based in Leeds. I'm a Nottingham boy, but I'm living in Leeds, and we've got promotions around here. I don't think I've ever seen you grace this side of the hills kind of thing. But there's called True Grit, and the last show they did, the main event was a 6-woman's championship match. You know,
Yeah,
the whole
yeah.
of it was for those 6 women, you know, to main event the show and to be made like and look like absolute stars and they were.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are some out there that do treat.
Yeah, of course, there's plenty out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I mean, I was talking on a grand scale of like, you know, bigger platforms that people are really, really pushing to, you know, get on. And it's just, you know, sometimes it's the same repeated people. And it's like, when are you gonna kind of give the people coming on this scene now room? Because, you know, these are the future, this next generation, let's be honest. Like these people coming up now, that's going to be the star of your shows in a few years. So what, like, build them? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's great that True Grit did that. I saw that and I was, you know, immensely proud. I saw Rio in that and I was like, I absolutely love Rio. I think she's unreal and everything that she does turns to gold. So, you know, I saw that was special. And people a lot that, you know, do that.
Hudson's one to keep an eye on. I think she's stands out. Harley Hudson.
Oh, of course. Holly Hudson comes to training classes every Thursday that I teach our Future Shock, and I see her. She's in the class before. She's in the class that I attend. So like, she's constantly working as well. So it's not just a show that you see her put in the effort in. She's constantly putting the effort in, and people like that go so far. So she's definitely one that people should be watching for sure.
Just to remind people who are watching this, you're talking about the next generation. You're 24. You are this as the next generation. It's been like 10 years. So obviously it feels like
I feel like I've been around for the full generation though, that like, by the time the next generation are like a little bit older, I'm gonna be like 30 something, so it's like it's a bit scary.
Still not even peaked yet. It's not an
I know. I wonder. I always say like, I wonder what'll be the age that I stop wrestling. And people are like, "No, you don't hit your peak till you're 30. Don't worry." And I'm like, "Okay, I've got major time."
It's not like I mean, obviously, I think if back in the day, like in the 80s or 90s, if wrestlers went past 36 or something, they were the prime. But now, yeah, you don't think you even peak until you're like in your mid 30s. So you've got 10 years of learning, and you've got another 10 years of learning before you even peak.
Crazy. It is actually crazy. I feel like I've been wrestling all my life. Actually, crazy.
That's it. I mean, to get involved when you was 14, kind of, I'm going to tick the generic box here for people who haven't seen the Johners interview. But yeah, at 14, what made you be like, I'm gonna, this is what I want to do?
I actually wanted to be a wrestler before I was 14. And like, I can't remember the exact age, but I remember being in a primary school uniform in my uncle's house, and I was watching Raw, and Maria Canales come on, and I was like, I just want to be like that. I want to be a woman that is like that. And yeah, and no, it's ever since that day, I've never, ever, 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 ever wanted to do anything else. I've wanted to like have a go at stuff, but no passion has ever come close to being a professional wrestler. And the more that I get, the older that I get, the longer that I've been in wrestling for, it's just like I am so incredibly grateful that my mum allowed me to join at that age, and that I took the courage to join at that age, because I'm only 24, like you just said, and I've already been here like almost 11 years now. So, it's 11 years this month. So it's just, it's actually enough. So I think being that young and making a decision like that has definitely benefited me. It's probably not helped my body in some sense, but it's helped me in so many other ways, with confidence and mentality, and the gym life, just understanding people from different cultures, just everything that has come with wrestling, everything that wrestling has taught me has made me a better human, not just a better wrestler. So being 14, starting it was probably the best choice in my life.
I can only imagine as well, though. Obviously, I mean, we're at a place now in wrestling, where I'd like for the majority, for the most part, everybody's kind of treated on level ground and stuff like that. And it was only 11 years ago, like mid 2013, something like that, 2012. But it's like a lifetime ago in regards to women in wrestling, like the boys' club and stuff like that. I mean, your confidence must have just been, you must have learned quickly to just be like, look, yeah, this is what I want to do. I'm not going to take any shit. Yeah, I'm going
to. At first, though, man, it was really tough, because I was the only like young female at the school, and like everyone was nice in a sense of not judging gender. So like nobody was like worried to get in with me, like out of the lads and stuff. But there was an older girl there that she'd been there for a few years prior to me. She doesn't wrestle anymore now, thank God. But she'd been there prior to me joining, and I don't know. I was getting praised by the coach. I was getting praised by a lot of people, and every session she would like find a way to make me feel shit, or she would make me feel a little bit worthless. And there would be drills where she'd just pin me to the floor. Like she would be maybe 13 stone, and I was only 14, so I was really small, and she'd just lie on top of me, knowing full well I'm a teenager. I haven't even like, if I wanted to, I'd scrag it all over this gaff. But like, I want to be a wrestler, so I'll learn the professional way. But you're not doing me any favors. You're not helping me journey. You're not making me feel better. And it didn't make her a better wrestler, because look at her now, she doesn't wrestle. So I always look back at my time and I'm like, I'm glad that my mum and dad raised me to take no shit from anyone. And even if they did try to give me shit or be shit with me, just keep holding your head up high. There's a reason they're doing it. So yeah, I thank her for that, because made me who I am. But yeah, it was tough. It was really, really tough. Confidence only came from that type of stuff.
So yeah, I can sort of imagine, obviously, and now you're teaching at like 24, like say at Future Shock.
Yeah.
Was that just a natural sort of transition? You you've got sort of words of wisdom to be told. I'll tell the next generation of this generation, what I know.
I think when Sam Bailey asked me to take the classes at the school, I was seeing a lot online of, make sure your trainees are like trained by the right people. And I had the same mindset, because I was seeing people that I would not trust to take a training session, just because of things I've heard and felt from these people. So I was seeing stuff, and it just kind of gives me a little kick up the arse to be like, well, I'm in a really good position to pass on some knowledge that I've gained. A lot of people want to know what it's like to have a tryout. I've had a tryout. A lot of people want to know what it's like to work at WWE. I've did drills with WWE. A lot of people want to know what it's like to work camera. All these different things that I know I'm not the best at, but everything that I've been taught, I will help you out to the best of my ability, because I know what it was like to be starting out and not get that. So if I can give you that and help you on your journey, it's not going to affect me. I want to see you go as far as you want to go. So, the world is everyone's oyster. We can go as far as we want to go, as long as we have people pushing us. And I feel like that's so important to have, because there's not many of it. You'll see a lot of women in wrestling. They'll be like, support women in wrestling. And it's the actions that you have to look for, because people can say things, but are people actually helping women? Are people actually supporting women? And I don't mean fans and lads, I mean the other women, because it's a toxic environment sometimes. And, I've had females come to me and be like, I really want to come train with you, because I would feel comfortable. Everyone says you're training. And that to me is better than someone saying, oh, I got booked on this show because of you. I would rather someone say, I feel comfortable in your presence and training with you, because I know you're not going to judge me for this, rather than any other compliment. Because I feel, to make someone comfortable, that's the biggest compliment you can get, because I struggled to find someone I was comfortable with when I started. So
Yeah.
I feel just knowing that I can bring comfort to someone is why I really, really wanted to do training classes the most.
That's awesome. Yeah, that is. I can't think of anything nicer, to say than that. Like you said, to make somebody feel comfortable in something that they want to do means the world. It's the reason why they're going to come back the next week. It's the reason they're going to wake up in the morning. I don't know if I can be asked to do this, but, I've got to do it, because just make I feel comfortable there, and I really look forward to going with them. But yeah, for me, I think that's the best thing. That's the best thing you can offer to somebody in that environment. That's awesome. I was talking to,
especially with our mindsets are always trying to look for the negatives. They're always trying to tell you that you can't do something and things like that. So to have people around you being, you keep doing that, that's fucking important, because that clap could push someone to go do something incredible the next day. That clap is so important. And I know that because so many clapped for me when I was in my own head. So that is the most specialist thing that you can do for anyone. Like, even if it's the smallest clap, just make someone feel seen and heard. That's all you've got to do.
I'll give you an example. I was talking to a guy, talking to Alan Kay a few weeks ago as part of True Grit kind of thing, and we was talking about. I was a massive fan of Chris Travis. I was trying to talk about him on the shows if possible. If people had any encounters with him or memories, so I was talking to Alan about it, and his memory of Chris was, Alan had been in his head for a few weeks. But after a show, just after it started, Travis just said to him, "Your timing is spot on." It's just a little compliment. But yeah, that pretty much got him to training the next week, and then it just built from there again, kind of thing. But it was just this compliment, or just like you say, this chat, and it meant the world.
It really, really does. Like, especially when it's something you've been working on a long time, but nobody knows. Like for me, it was my bumps back years ago when I was really bumping and feeding, like trying to nail me bumps and get everything crisp and stuff. And there was just one person that walked into the gym when I was doing it, and he was like, "Ah, good bumps, your bumps are coming on." And I was like, you know, that made me feel so good about myself to the point where I was hyped up for the training session. So I feel like clapping for someone's positives rather than always looking for a negative. I mean, if you can't see a negative, then don't try and pick one out, you know. You don't need to. Just tell them that what they did was a good job and let them enjoy the moment, because that's what's wrong with today. Like, not a lot of people like clapping for people, and the more people that clap for others, the more trends that we set, like in doing so, you know.
It's I think obviously I don't know. I heard it from somebody, I can't remember who it was, but there's a very common theme where people want to see you do well, but just not as well as them.
Just not better than you. I've saw that one. Yeah, I fucking love that one.
Yeah,
because it's so true.
That's it. You know, they'll do just enough. But yeah, if you get too high, very quick to pull you back down again.
Thing is as well, there's like everyone is different, and this is what I can't stress enough. Like me and Harley, for instance, were so different, so opposite. So I know there's not one spot of mine that she could take, and there's not one spot of hers that I could take, because there's room for both of us to go as far as we want to go, because we are different people, we are different characters, and we've both got different goals, you know. So this is why I always say, no matter how much you like light up someone's candle, it's never going to blow out yours. So clap for these people, man. Fucking encourage them, help them, set them on the way. Do you know what I mean? Be anything that you can be for these people, because you know God sees that stuff as well.
Yes. Yeah. Well said. I really second that comment. Again, I was talking to Scotty yesterday. Scotty Rourke. He sort of says that he's been lucky enough recently that ever since the global bastard, you know, COVID and stuff like that, since you guys kind of went without wrestling for a year and a half, it does seem a little bit now that since you've come back, everybody's a bit more supportive and kind of appreciate it. You know, it's like, right, oh shit, we lost this for a year. We're going to do everything we can do now to make sure it's fucking awesome, kind of.
Yeah, 100%. COVID is what opened my eyes up a lot. I went through a full on like awakening to a lot of stuff in throughout that time. I guess not being able to wrestle and not being able to gym and just having to sit with your own thoughts was tough, especially when all you wanted to do was wrestle and all you wanted to do was gym. So it was just about, like, you know, sitting with yourself and actually listening to these things. And what I found out for myself and what I discovered was, you know, no one's gonna do this shit for me. No one's gonna like literally put my shoes on, my gear, and be me. Like, I have to use this time to see who it is I want to be, because I was still basically Lizzie Styles and stuff like that before COVID. And you know, I had a shit time throughout COVID. I was, you know, all that aside, but I had to fully change everything about myself, you know, everything down to the whole mindset. And COVID really, really helped me do that. Like before COVID, I was a bit bitter towards wrestling because I felt I weren't getting anywhere. And now I look back, that was me blocking my own blessings, because I was so bitter towards these these moments that I should have just been, okay, it is what it is, you know. I was just trying so hard to create my own thing that I didn't realize that it not everything is about me back then. So I was so bitter. I was 17, 18, 19, just thinking like the world owed me a favor, and COVID come, swat me in the face, like boom.
Teenager,
And
basically. You know, it's
yeah, it
like,
just made me realize there's a lot more to life. Don't be bitter. Don't clap for people. Don't. This isn't the life that you want to live. Like, I wasn't happy. I genuinely wasn't happy. And you could see in my lifestyle that I wasn't happy. So COVID come, and although it was a shit thing, like the worst reason to have to be locked in with your whole thoughts, it was essential for me, and it was really, really, really an eye opener for who I am and where I want to be in life. 100%.
finding. So, from a bad situation rises the feeling. You get something good out of it. You get a positive out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go with it. So again, it's positive. It's positivity. You found something positive in a very shitty situation, and it's propelled you forward.
Yeah.
I'm smashing it. On the back of it. So
Cool.
kudos. You can't ask for more than that.
We
So
only got one life, eh? We gotta live it.
I'm going to sort of lighten the mood here and mention, obviously, I've seen you prominently more at sort of 1PW and at other shows, but I know you can work face and heel, but normally when I see you, you always kind of pin up the the heelness. Again, I know you've talked about it before, and it's more fun to be a heel.
Yeah.
I know you prefer being the heel. Um, is it just because it's just fun to have people angry at you, shouting abuse at you, and you can just stand there and smile at them?
I think it's easy to be a baby face because, the minute you come out with smiles and like, everyone's instantly like, yay, it's so easy to be a baby face. I think in this day and age, it's really tough to sometimes be a villain because, you know, there's smart marks everywhere. People don't really want to be booing heels. They kind of want to be cheering for the heels. So, and I feel a lot of villains kind of lost how to be a villain when that happens because they enjoy the cheers as a heel. And it's like, I ain't doing my job if you're clapping for me. I mean, you might be clapping because you respect me, but like, I don't need like as a heel. There's got to be a balance, and like if a promoter is booking me to be a heel, I'm gonna make sure I do that job, because I feel it can be so hard to be a heel in this day and age, and I have more fun being that way because that's who I'm not a bad person. Like I'm not horrible, but I'm very quick witted, and I like to take the piss a lot, and I like to have a sense of humor and like have banter with people and stuff. Like so, Lizzy Evo in the ring is just me dialed up.
Turn to
So
11. It's basically
yeah,
11.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, one of my I remember the show in Lincoln. The people just shouting abuse, and you just stood there with the mic, just absolutely howling, and I don't give a fuck kind of thing. And I was just like, I applaud you, but I don't want to applaud you because I know I'm not meant to kind of thing. But I was just like, it's just magnificent, like chef kiss. Heel work. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was like, that was the first time I was just like embracing everything because that was like, I've never had a shut the fuck up before. So I've had abuse, but not like that many times chanting that at me. So that was when I was like, I've got you all right here. I've got you all at all.
That's it. And it was good enough. Like I say, I appreciated it. But I was like, I'm not going to clap because that kind of defeats the whole purpose. I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to silently nod my head and be like, yeah, that was awesome. That was like,
I appreciate that.
and yeah, spot on. So, and I think that's what's going to come from that's going to be standard now in the 1PW shows. I think you're going to get the shut the fuck up chant all the time. And
I hope that sets the trend. Like, I really hope so.
Yeah, like I said, it's a thin line between being the heel that everybody boos and shouts abuse at. I think I know you mentioned before, like Randy Orton was one of your favourites when you was younger, kind of thing. Watching him work and stuff. But he was I can't think. He was more. He was a victim of his abilities because he was meant to be a heel, but the fans just couldn't help but cheer.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like they constantly try to turn him face as a result, and it's just like, no, the dude is a heel, but he just, the fans. It was just, it's very hard.
It's tough. It is really tough. Like, there's a balance. I mean, I get booked now for more over 18 shows than I do for the PG type of shows, or the family shows. So I have to find moments where I have to bite my tongue, or these moments on the over 18 shows where I'm still biting my tongue because I'm trying to knock back how much I do this or how much I say fuck off. And the balance is hard. So when I go do some family shows, and it's just about knowing how to be a villain and knowing your audience, and how to be a villain on your over 18s and knowing your audience, I guess. And like, I mean, it's good to soak in some cheers as a villain because it means that you're respected in some sense. It's good, but just don't let that become the character, because that's not why they're cheering for you. They're cheering for you because they respect you.
Yeah, if you can take those cheers and then the flipping,
they're
booing you, or they're telling you to shut the fuck up. Basically, that's it. That's the flip of a switch. You've got it. You kind of got, like you said,
you gotta know it. Yeah.
So at the family shows, then when you're being a heel, do you kind of feel like you have to pantomime it up a bit more because you rely on like finger gestures or the swearing, or do you just have to like be a little bit more of a sneaky heel?
I mean, I like. So I had the conversation with William Regal about being a heel and protecting baby faces as a heel and stuff. And yeah, once you know that stuff, it helps out to know that stuff on these type of crowds as well, because all this will work, and because kids react to that stuff. The mums will laugh at the kids reacting to that. So it's about knowing what will kids hate me for, like. And I know my little nephew hates when I do stuff like that, just winding them up real bad because they can't do nothing. All they can do is shout at me. So I think just knowing what you can do to like certain audience members, and like, I feel I only whip the fingers out now when I genuinely like. It's like an intuition thing. It's like I feel, I don't know. It's like I'm trying to sway away from it a little bit because people go, "Oh, that's cheap heat, that's cheap heat." But I'm not even trying to get heat when I put my finger up. Like, I'm genuinely telling you, fuck off. Like, so I'm not trying to get heat. You see me being full on me, dialed up. Like, I don't take any shit. So if you're trying to give me shit, fuck off. Like, I'll give you this back, sort of thing. So it's really tough, but if you know your audience and you know how to be a worker, I guess it comes quite easy. The more shows that you do, and stuff like that.
Worst comes to worst, just work Manchester and just keep wearing the Liverpool shirt.
That's my claim to fame now. That's it.
Oh, so there we go. Going back to that, I think, like I said, my mate Ash, he follows like he's told me about it a few times. Like, there's a Liverpool football channel on YouTube or something like that. I like Liverpool fans.
Yeah.
They sort of like send a link, to that entrance room kind of thing, and he's going to get you on there at some point. He's adamant. He's just like he's going to get that entrance acknowledged.
I love someone from in the Redmen TV, I think it was, or someone quote retweeted it saying like, "He's right, Lizzy," and I was like, finally, fuck yes. I was buzzing with that.
So I won't go too much into the football because you're not having the best seasons. So it's I don't even know. I feel bad. Liverpool on my team. I'm going to say this at the risk of you ending the call, but I'm an Arsenal fan. But I always have an agreement with my mate. If we don't win the title, then I want Liverpool to. And that's always been my agreement for the last like 10 years. So obviously, you guys have won it a lot more than I have in the last 10 years, but I've always been happy with it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
You don't win it, it means City aren't winning it, it means Chelsea ain't winning it. So that was always my logic.
It goes back to what we were saying before, you know, I'm got to clap for people that, you know, do well. And Liverpool just haven't been on the game, and you can't fault Arsenal for having a belter season and going on and doing better than most teams. You know, I would rather see Arsenal lift it than see City lift it again, and I would definitely rather see Arsenal than someone like United. So my blessing.
There's a lot of Arsenal and Liverpool fans who have this mutual agreement now between themselves, whether it's unspoken, like, well, if you guys ain't winning it, I don't mind if you do.
Yeah, that's the same. I mean, I don't speak for every Scouser, but I know 100% I would rather see Arsenal lift it than City and Queen United. Like that to me is
You know, there's no bad blood there. It was all right.
It was all right. It wasn't too much.
That's what I'll say. It was all right.
I will leave it at that.
You mentioned, obviously, you know, the first 1PW show back, you know, stepping in the ring with Mickie James. I know you're an old school WWE fan. You know, from youth kind of thing. So that must have been, you know, when that match got booked and they told you about it. You know, was you walking on clouds?
Oh yeah, I was living on them for a while actually. I think it was when they sent me the promo that she cut on me, and you know there was talks about it leading up to that, but once I got that video message through, and I was like, oh, just like I don't even care if I get looked at as a fan or a smart. Like I am buzzing that I was I got to work with Mickie James for 1PW. Like that could have been any one of us girls that have been booked so far, but the fact that he trusted me enough to get in with someone as special as Mickie James, you know, there was little things that as a wrestler I took from that, and not just the fact that I was going to be in the spotlight working with Mickie James. It was more the fact of they trust me to work Mickie James. They have this belief in me that I'll do well against Mickie James. Like there was just so much things, and I think once I got the video message through, and you know she said my name and stuff, and I showed my mum, and like to me, growing up as a WWE fan, always watching Mickie James and Maria and Beth Phoenix and all them girls, like it was so surreal to be watching a video with Mickie James challenging me to a match, you know, like and calling me an indie darling or whatever she called me, and I was like, you know, this is like everything I ever imagined, everything plus a little bit more. You know, I never once saw the day that I would be working someone like Mickie James. Never mind working her herself. You know, that's really like bucket list stuff, and dreams actually really do come true if you work hard for them. Like when I tell people now I've wrestled Mickie James, they're like, "Be Mickie James." I'm like, "Yeah, it's cool, that isn't it?" It's just mad. Sometimes I feel like I have to pinch myself, and it's like I work hard for that, but it still feels surreal that I actually got to share the ring with someone I always idolized growing up.
I'm guessing you can't not get some sort of just nuggets of gold, you know, some sort of nuggets of knowledge from just being in the ring. Like that. You know, it just you level up automatically, kind of thing.
It was amazing because seeing like how many people were talking about it leading up to it as well, and as the bell rang and before we locked up, there was quite a full handful of Lizzy chants, and you know I was a heel there as well. So I think, and that was when Mickie turned to me and she said to me, and she was like, "I'm here and listen to them." So it was like she just before we locked up, she bigged me up.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that to me is such a professional because she's the star. She's done everything in wrestling. She's an actual legend for women in wrestling. So for her to acknowledge that, you know, I'm getting a lot of cheers as a heel, and you know, it was so special, man. I wish I could go back and relive all that, but you know, it'd never be as special as when you first do it anyway. And
but
I just never get over it.
That's one moment. Then obviously following that, Mickie's a legend. But then you go from that to stepping in the ring with Ruby.
Yeah,
Is obviously top of her game in AEW at the minute. You know, she's working alongside Soraya, Tony Storm. You know, the Outcasts, like the hottest thing in women's wrestling in AEW. And yeah, again, you know, you're trusted. You and obviously Martina, the three of you, on absolutely lined her, and yeah, you were trusted with that moment.
I used to look at, you know, like when I said before COVID, when I felt really bitter at everything, I used to see people getting these really cool matches, and I used to hope to one day be the one that got them matches. But because I was so stuck in a rutted mindset, my mindset would never let me believe that them things were going to happen to me, never mind so soon. And I think once I just changed everything, and then things were coming to me, you know. Now it still feels surreal sometimes, you know, when I seen the graphic with the Ruby Soho match, and then, you know, and then of course this one, and I'm wrestling some really good people like Millie. I love working with Millie. I love working with Nina Samuels, you know. So the 1PW just keep continuing to give me special people that I can create special moments with, you know, that I'll look back and I'll be really happy when, you know, one day when I finish wrestling and I look at the runs that I had with places, you know, I'll look at this one and I'll be really grateful, because this is the one that's made me realize my ability a lot. You know, I believe in myself anyway, but the chances and opportunities 1PW present to me, because the belief that they have in me, I now have belief in myself to, you know, want to go and take on the world. So it's cool to have that. It really is.
That's it. I mean, obviously we talk about the 1PW stuff, but you know, it's only a few months earlier than that you and Martina were, you know, smashing in Dubai for Progress and stuff like that. So it's not just, you know, they're not isolated moments. These, like, you know, it's becoming a common occurrence in, you know, the career of Lizzy. You get these
I would
moments.
never have thought it, man. Like just this month alone, like I have OTT this weekend against Session Moth, and then the weekend after is the 1PW show for Takana, the very first woman to hold the championship. And then straight after that, I'm off to Glasgow. So like there's just, wrestling keeps continuing to give me things that I once hoped for, but I didn't have the belief. But now I have no reason to not have the belief. You know, I have everyone around me that sings the praises, and if I didn't believe in myself, I'd be stupid, because why are all these people doing it? You know, so that's why it's so important to clap for people, because I wouldn't be half the woman I am if it weren't for people clapping for me and supporting me and giving me these chances. So I know how important that is.
It seems to me, if I was to bullet, if I was to summarize where you are right now, it very much seems to be positive mentality, positive outcomes. That seems to be the basic. You know, if I want to sum it up in human terms, it's like Lizzy got positive, good shit start.
Yeah, exactly that. Like I always say to people when they say you've changed, and I'm like, I lived two ways. I lived really angry, really bitter, like the world owed me a favor, and you know, I had an excuse for some things. I know it weren't the way to be, and I knew it weren't the way to be subconsciously. You know, I knew something needed to change in my life, and now I've changed. Like I've changed me mindset and how I see things. Like I'm a more compassionate person towards people, and I feel once you're open minded and you open your heart to like actually, you know, going off scale a little bit with the world we live in today, I think it's important to actually realize that some people are alone. Some people don't have anyone to talk to. Don't. Some people don't get listened to. And like, I'm no celebrity. I'm not famous. If I can give you a bit of my time and my day, that's going to help you. Of course, I'm going to, because at the end of the day, take wrestling away from me. I'm just a human being, and I feel like a lot of people forget that when they get so far in wrestling, that they forget that we are just human beings. So being positive is one thing, but authentic is another. Just, you know, embracing the struggles that actually come, because life isn't always perfect and life isn't always easy. There's got to be a balance to everything, but everything is just in your mindset and how you handle things, and some things are just tests.
How are you only 24? Seriously, you have like mindset, like the logic, like a freaking Yoda or something. It's ridiculous.
This is why I'm so grateful I got into wrestling at a young age, because I've had to, I not had to, but I have got the chance to learn so many different stories of people before me, and seeing how people were with people, and like just adding common decency and common knowledge to what I do, I feel can really help you massively. And I feel sometimes I am a lot older than what I should be. I feel like I've come back.
Uh, but it's very refreshing and it's awesome to hear. And you have officially like jumped up to like my top 5 human beings. Like, I picked Scotty Walk recently, saying that the dude was legitimately an amazing, awesome, nice human being. And I think obviously I can echo the same sentiment about you as well. Just listening to you, and just your wisdom, your mindset is refreshing. It's awesome.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I really do.
You mentioned Glasgow, obviously. So again, I saw on socials you are ICW after one PW. That's I'm going to hold. I'm out of the loop with ICW for a few years. You've wrestled for them, right? Or is this your first time there?
No, I worked for them previously. I think I've worked for them quite a few times now. Yeah, I've had a few singles, and I did a triple threat at the Square Go. So yeah, I've had a few moments there with ICW that I've really enjoyed. It's been a while since I've been there though, so this is going to be the first one in a few months. So yeah.
But that must be huge, because obviously, I mean, when for any British wrestler, for me, not to besmirch any other promotion, but I think because of the spotlight that WWE Network shines on them, ICW and Progress are like the pinnacle, the top 2 promotions you can work for in the UK, for that kind of, having eyes on you.
Yeah, when the WWE Network was partnered up with the two of them, I feel that was where everybody pushed to be. Everybody wanted to be on them brands because they knew this stuff was going to be, put on the WWE Network. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I kind of like that there's no WWE Network involved with these, because these were both massive independents before they signed deals to go on the network. So I feel like, you know what that saying is, sometimes you've got to take a few different paths, but they still lead to the same destination. I feel they tried it, and I love watching ICW with no network. ICW for me, like, is so sick to watch.
Yeah.
Especially like, with Rio's dive, and then, if you go back years and years ago and you watch Drew McIntyre's stuff there and Noam Dar's stuff, and you see how sick ICW is, I'm honoured that I'm now going back there, even though there's no network involved, because the ICW on demand stuff and the ICW shows back then, before the network was partnered with them, was so sick. That like he is in what do you call it? Like, some people are a bit worried to go and step out of a certain zone in case they piss off a few people and things like that. Whereas you don't have
outside the comfort zone, or you don't want to.
You don't want to overstep any boundaries or anything. Whereas like now, ICW is ICW, and there's nobody can say anything about the product because it's ICW. Like, and I love that so much. Like, I feel ICW is definitely one that people should be pushing to get on if they haven't already. It definitely helped me at my time when I joined, and yeah, I feel more people should definitely want to get on it. There's a lot of people in there that you can just pick the brains as well. Like, Jack Jester's been around for years and he knows his shit, There's a lot of people that you can just have a good conversation about wrestling with and come away feeling like you've just, you've learned quite a bit.
That's it. And any company that names pay-per-views after Millhouse is going to keep me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, ITW for me, not just just for the limited time it was on the network, obviously it put eyes on that, and I think a lot of people would have watched it and then kept watching it. That's the thing. It gave it so much exposure. Even before that, it was still, like I say, that in progress to me. I'm a massive fan of a lot of promotions, but they were kind of like the flagships for British wrestling just because of what they've achieved. And yeah, ICW back in the day, even obviously now, but I mean, we're talking about the amount of talent that's come through ICW that is now in WWE. I mean, you're talking Piper Niven, Kaylee Ray, Drew McIntyre. Obviously, you had like, Wolfgang was there, Damo, but that kind of, and the venues they've sold out as well, up north.
Yeah. So it's so sick, like, to see. I remember seeing when they announced that they were parting from the network, and of course you always get that little gutted feeling because you want to see everyone do well, and I know that was doing well.
Yeah.
But I also know that if something like that happens, you have to, of course, look at the alternatives and where you can go from there. And I really, really believe that ICW can be so fucking big again to the point where everybody wants to be working there again. You know, like I'm honoured that I get to work for ICW, even if it's like every now and then. It's really special that they'll book me against who they believe is their best women. So, I'm hundreds of miles away from Scotland, so that's really good for me. That I can, and like you said, people that would have come from the network that kept watching, it's good that they do stuff like that because it puts new eyes on your brand, it puts new eyes on your wrestlers, puts new eyes on people's merch and things like that. Like everyone benefits from that stuff. So it's like it's a positive. It's always a positive when things like that happen, and you can go back to running things how you originally ran them and what made you who you were.
Freedom. Yeah, you could be like the outlaw.
Yeah. Like the ball's back in your court now.
That's it. Yeah, you got total control. Do what you want to do, and love every second of it, kind of thing. So, I've just noticed the time; it's freaking flown by. We're getting close to the hour mark, so I will. I'll let you go. But I've got a favour to ask. If you can somehow get a sneaky peek of the women's titles from Stephen from W, and let me have a sneak peek at them so I can finish my artwork before the show, that would be awesome.
Oh, definitely. I'll see what I can do. I'll see if I can help out. I'll see if I can do anything, but I'm not 100% sure, but I'll see what I can do.
It's triggering. I generally don't have OCD. I'm looking at that piece of artwork and I need to finish the belt. I need to draw the belt. I need to do something. Flag in my head.
Okay.
Help would be appreciated.
Okay, no problem. I'll see what I can do for you.
I'm obviously only joking. I know it could be totally top secret. I'm totally happy. I'll finish it after I've seen you holding it at the dome.
Look, I have no idea what way that night's gonna go, but I'll see what I can do for you. And also, thank you for that, by the way, because that is really cool. I love that artwork. I absolutely love it.
Thank you. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. I was a little bit nervous before the chat. I was a bit like, I don't know. I was obviously seeing you in character, seeing you in the ring, and everything like that. I was a bit like, I don't know how this conversation is going to go. Is it going to be smooth? Is it going to be cool? But yeah, anytime that I've said that your outlook and your positivity is amazing. Genuinely 100%. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. So
thank you so much. Really, I appreciate that, and likewise as well. Really, likewise. I always get nervous doing these interviews. I never know how I'm going to be or how I'm going to be perceived and stuff like that. So yeah, I've been comfortable every minute of it. I've enjoyed every second of it, and we've touched up on things that are really special to me. So thank you.
That's key for me. So I will say, if you want to plug your socials, do it now. Get people, get to look at you on Twitter and stuff. Buy your merch.
So my Instagram, Lizzy Evo 97, Twitter, Lizzy Evo 97, and TikTok is Lizzy Evo. I don't know if there's a number in it. I don't really use TikTok, but Instagram and Twitter is where I post all my merch stuff and dates for shows and stuff like that. So yeah, follow me on there. Thank you.
Yes, obviously like, share, do what you would normally do after watching one of these episodes. Thank you for watching. It's been a legitimate pleasure, and we will see you again very soon.